When you look at some of the best known brands in the world, you don't need reminding about what they are or what they do. For example, what about this one? Or this one? Then there's this one, and their main rivals, this one. And even though, with one exception, none of these brands actually have the name of the company or the product in them, you can tell by looking exactly what the company is and exactly what they make. For example, you can tell just by looking at this collection which company makes running shoes and which company makes computer software. And in fact, if a brand is really successful, you only have to see its name or logo, even out of context, to be reminded about what the company does or what the product is. I mean, for example, take a look at this photograph here. Now, if you're familiar with the brand, you'll know that even though it's on the side of a racing car, it's got nothing to do with motoring, it's got nothing to do with motor racing at all. But you know exactly what it is. And if you live in a market where they don't sell this, I'll tell you it's an energy drink. But if you do live somewhere where they do sell this product, you'll know immediately exactly what it is just by looking at the brand. And it's the same online as it is offline. So you need to be consistent. So if let's say you're Sam Owen 101 on Facebook and new video for you on Twitter and new video to go on YouTube and Sam Owen's video productions on LinkedIn and new videos for you on Pinterest, well, nobody is going to know that you're the same person or the same business. Likewise, if your website has one color scheme and your Facebook page has another and your Twitter feed has another and you use a different logo on your letterhead than you do online, well, quite frankly, people are not going to take you seriously. So how can you be consistent? Well, really, this is something that you must do from the very beginning. So when you're just starting out, you need to decide on a business name. Now, of course, I suppose the obvious way is to just simply use your name, but that can be problematical if you ever decide to sell the business on to somebody else. You're also selling the rights to your name. So generally, if you plan on perhaps selling your business on later on, then using your name isn't a very good idea. What is a very good idea, though, is something that is descriptive of what you do. So if you make a particular product or you sell a particular service, then including that in your business name is a good idea. And likewise, you can also include keywords as part of your business name that will make it easy for search engines to find you, and it will sort of stick in people's minds that you are or your company is or does this particular thing, and it's a keyword that sort of lodges in their brain. Regardless, you should have something that's easy to remember, something that's not too convoluted, something that easily trips off the tongue, something that people can sort of lodge somewhere in their brain, and when they need your product, they need your service, they can simply think, yes, we can have so-and-so. Or, for example, you could have something cryptic. Probably the best example of this that I know is Nike, and Nike was the ancient Greek goddess of victory. So, of course, a bit cryptic there. They were sort of thinking, well, Nike, victory, wear our shoes, cross the finish line first, that sort of thing. Something else that you really do need to do is to make sure that nobody else is using it. If you go to a whole lot of trouble of setting yourself up with a business name and then you find that actually somebody else is using it, you're going to have to start all over again. You also want to make sure that it's not deliberately confused with another more established business. And I'll give you a real life example here. Here in the UK, there is a chain of pharmacies and drugstores called Boots the Chemist. And they are a regular presence on just about every high street and shopping mall in the country. Now, I know of this guy whose name was Booth, and he started a chemist shop. He was a pharmacist by profession, and he started a chemist shop, and he called it Booths the Chemist. Well, Boots the Chemist weren't very happy about this, and I'm told that they got him to change the name of his shop so that it couldn't be confused with theirs. So you do have to be very careful when choosing your business name that you can't purposely confuse it with another company. Something else that you should do is to have the same color scheme. So you want to have the same color scheme on all of your social media sites. You want to have the same color scheme on your website, and also offline. If you run a bricks and mortar business, you want to make sure that your letterhead, that your signage, if you have a van, you want to make sure that it has the same colors as the rest of your business, so that you've got a completely seamless association in the customer's mind between those colors and you. You also want to have the same logo, and this is very important because, like I was saying earlier in the video, people will associate the logo with you. So you need to make sure that it is the same across all social media sites. And it's a good idea to get it professionally designed. You can find someone to design a logo for you on Fiverr.com. That's Fiverr with 2 R's. And this is a site where people will do all sorts of stuff for $5 or for multiples of $5. And you can see here I've done a search for logo design, and there are quite a number of different people offering this particular service. You should also have the same handle or username on all of your social media. Like I was saying earlier in the video, if you're one name on Facebook and a different one on Twitter and a different one on Pinterest, then people aren't going to know that you're the same person or the same business. So it's a good idea to go through and register an account on all the different types of media, all the different social media platforms, even the ones that you don't plan on using. Primarily because this will stop other people from hijacking your name and trading off your goodwill. Likewise, you should register all the extensions of your domain name. So you want to have your domain name .com, .net, .co, .tv, .co.uk, .com.au, etc., etc. So finally, you want to get things set up so that whenever somebody sees your logo, hears your business name, or sees your handle, they'll automatically think of you. And then you know that they've become true fans. In this video, I want to talk about ways that you can grow your Twitter fan base. Now, Twitter is a fantastic tool for marketing and getting more fans and followers. But most people don't use it correctly. And you must make it easy for your fans to find and follow you. And this means having the same branding as on other sites. Now, for example, let's say you run a site in the fitness niche called Ultimate Fitness Supplies, and you supply home gym equipment, say. Well, you would want to call your business obviously Ultimate Fitness Supplies. You would have your website ultimatefitnesssupplies.com. On Facebook, you'd be facebook.com/Ultimate Fitness Supplies. On Twitter, you'd be at Ultimate Fitness Supplies, and so on. And you keep that up all the way across. Something else that you should do on Twitter, and it's very simple, but surprisingly people don't, is to simply ask people to follow you. And if you place a Twitter button on your website and ask people to follow you, well, that's usually enough. But if you find people still aren't signing up, it could be because of one or two things. First of all, either no one knows that it's there, so you'll need to make your sign up button a bit more prominent, or you're not providing enough incentive for people to want to sign up, and this can be a big problem. So instead of just leaving it to chance, why not say in the occasional blog post something like, to stay up to date with all our latest content and special offers, please follow us on Twitter. Or for exclusive special offers, follow us on Twitter. And then occasionally perhaps you might tweet a coupon code number to your Twitter fans that they can use to get a discount when they come to check out, if you have a shopping cart site, that sort of thing. So it gives people a really good incentive to follow you on Twitter because there's something in it for them, as well as being able to receive all your latest tweets. Now, something like this might just be enough to draw attention to your Twitter feed and get people interested. And this works even better in video, so if you occasionally vlog, be sure to ask people to sign up at the end of each video. And you can perhaps have a graphic that says, follow us on Twitter, and then your Twitter tag, etc. And once you have a decent number of followers, then you can use the option to have this number displayed. And this can be really powerful because people love to follow the herd. And you can create a follow button quite easily on this site, which is publish.twitter.com, and just simply enter your Twitter URL in here and follow the on-screen instructions. But of course, the best way to get people to follow you on Twitter is to simply deliver quality content that people want to read. But unfortunately, so many people get this one totally wrong. So let's look at these particular tweets. And let's say again that you're in the fitness niche. Something like this, do you want to get in shape faster? Try our hashtag chin up, hashtag bar, hashtag fitness, hashtag hypertrophy. Running in a marathon? Make sure your hashtag training, hashtag shoes are up to the task. We're offering a 10% discount to new clients for this month only. Sign up now at, and you've got the bit.ly URL there, hashtag deals. Our dumbbells come in a range of weights and sizes, hashtag dumbbells, hashtag weightlifting. You get the point. So what's wrong with this exactly? Well, it will be quicker to ask what's right with it. I mean, think about it. Would you follow that kind of a Twitter account? What would be the point? If you were an existing customer or fan, seeing adverts for something you were already using wouldn't offer much value. And if you weren't an existing customer, you'd probably be frustrated and annoyed by all the constant nagging. So the question you need to ask yourself is, what would your customers want to read? So put yourself in your customer's shoes, and seeing as we're on a fitness theme here, put yourself in their running shoes. What would they like to know about? Well, as you're in the fitness niche, you could provide fitness tips or workout advice, diet ideas, etc. If you run a blog on martial arts, then discuss moves and your favorite martial arts film. Think of each tweet as a mini product and try to ensure that the reader benefits from it in some way. Now, whether that's by being entertained or by learning something, it doesn't really make a lot of difference. Also, for business niches, industry news can also prove very popular. Another approach to take is a little less on the nose. Instead of directly discussing your niche, your industry or your service, you can talk about the lifestyle of people involved with your topic instead. Try and sell the idea that you're all part of a community and tweet about subjects that might inspire or subjects that your audience can relate to. And you don't have to come up with original material every time either. You can retweet tweets from other leading players in your niche. And this helps to build a sense of community, and it tells followers that it's okay to retweet your tweets too. And of course, then you'll spread your word much further and wider than you would do if it was just to your own followers. So there you go, just a few ways that you can grow your Twitter fan base. In this video, I want to give you some tips on building a massive YouTube following. Now, why is it that some YouTube videos get so many views they practically break the counter, yet others get seen so infrequently the page looks like Tombstone before the Outlaws ride in? And how come some YouTube channels have many thousands of subscribers and their video stats hit four figures within a few hours, whereas others might get one or two subscribers a year and their videos never get viewed 100 times before they get taken down? Well, there are a number of different answers to that question. And while you might not have as many views and subscribers as Gangnam Style, you can certainly build a solid following and get a decent number of views for your videos. The main determining factor for how popular your videos are going to be comes down to your niche, and some niches are more popular than others. In general internet marketing, the biggest niches are fitness, dating, self-help, and making money. But some of the most popular subjects for YouTube videos outside of those big internet marketing niches are gaming, makeup tutorials, grooming and style, travel, technology, fails, cats, DIY, comedy, and lifestyle vlogs. So you need to pick a niche that's going to be popular, but often the most popular niches are the most competitive and oversaturated. So if you do a series of videos on how to do the perfect workout routine, you're going to be up against some fairly big names who already have a massive following, and you'll find it very hard to compete. So what should you do? Well, one thing is to pick a popular niche, but concentrate on a particular aspect of it. And this is known as niching down, or niching down, as some people pronounce it. So let's say you're in the golf niche. Instead of doing just general golf videos, you could do tutorials on how to hit the perfect swing or do the perfect putt. You could show how to hit with each type of iron or wood, or you could have tips to play different holes at different golf courses or different links. And of course, when golf goes wrong, it's always a good topic for humour. Or why not pick an obscure sport like handball? Now, it's not as popular, so it's not as competitive, or at least off the field anyway. But there's also not much out there. So videos on this topic do rack up an awful lot of views fairly quickly. But of course, it doesn't matter how good your content is. If you can't get people to your channel, no one's going to see it, so there's not a lot of point. So how can you get a lot of people to your channel quite easily? Well, a keyword-rich description and title will help YouTube to determine what your video is all about. And so when people type in what they're searching for on YouTube, YouTube will go through, they'll use the keywords, and they'll pull yours out, and it'll come up either in the listing or in the suggested videos at the side. Something else you can do is, if your video is scripted, be sure to include plenty of keywords and then upload the script to YouTube so that it can be used for subtitles and closed captions. And then that will help YouTube also to decide exactly where your video is and exactly what your video is about. Now, some good tools to find keywords are the Google AdWords Keyword Planner. This is quite a long URL, so if you just go to Google and type in Google AdWords Keyword Planner, you'll be directed to this site. Or something a bit more in depth, you can use Market Samurai, which you can find here at marketsamurai.com. And this is a paid-for solution, although there is a free trial offer running at the time that I'm making this video. Something else you can do is use other social media to drive traffic. So tweet about your video upload on Twitter, just sending a tweet saying I've uploaded a new video, and then the URL can also get people to look at it, just out of curiosity, really. Or you can post it on Facebook. Or you can share it on sites like Reddit or Google+. And Google+ is actually very good because Google owns YouTube and they also own Google Plus. So there's a lot of synergy between the three areas. So if you've got something on YouTube, you can put it up on Google Plus as well, and it'll also show up very well in the Google search engine rankings. Something else you can do is to embed your YouTube video onto your blog as part of a blog post. And if you have a WordPress blog, this is actually very easy to do. You just simply embed the URL and WordPress takes care of the rest. And you should also make it easy for others to share your video on their sites. To make your YouTube videos easy to share, make sure that all this works properly once you've uploaded your video. You want to make sure that there is a URL or share link that people can access, and that they've got the buttons here that people can share on various other social media sites. Also to make sure that you've got the embed code, like here, to go on an HTML site, and that people can email your URLs. You have to sign in to do this, and I haven't, but usually there'll be a link here that you can use. In this video, I want to show you ways of getting more Facebook fans. Now, basically, there are two ways of getting more Facebook fans. You can either grow your following organically, or you can buy advertising that promotes your Facebook page. Now, let's talk about how you can grow your following organically, because that's probably the best way of doing so. It's certainly the cheapest. And of course, the best way to grow more Facebook fans is to give them a reason to visit your Facebook page. And basically that means posting useful, interesting content. And if you post stuff your target audience wants to read, they will, first of all, read it. They'll like it. They'll follow you so they can read more of it. And they'll tell others who might be interested too. So you'll grow your fan base that way. When you're posting content, it's always a good idea to post a picture or a GIF alongside your post. And it makes it more eye-catching and interesting. And if possible, you should post an original picture if you have one, preferably one that ties into the content of the page and perhaps shows you in it as well, because then it basically cements it and ties it all together. You should also have share buttons on your website or on your blog. And this can encourage people to like, share, and follow you on Facebook. You should also interact with the comments and respond. Don't just simply post up your Facebook page and then go away and don't come back until you're starting something else. Join in the conversation, be a part of the community, make sure that people know that you're going to interact with them if they post a comment on your Facebook page. And you can also use other social media to promote your page, things like YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, Reddit, etc. You can all link them together so that they go back to your Facebook page. In fact, if you're posting a video on YouTube, this is actually very easy because you can simply put something at the end that says follow us on Facebook and gives the URL. So it is actually quite easy to do it that way. The other way that you can get more Facebook fans is by purchasing advertising so that it leads people to your page who perhaps wouldn't stumble upon it organically. Now, Facebook ads, which is what the system is on Facebook, work in a similar way to Google AdWords. In other words, they're PPC or pay-per-click. But unlike Google AdWords, they're more varied and they can be more tightly targeted. For example, you can target people by their age, gender, location, interests, marital status, etc., etc. Now let's look at the different types of ad that you can have on Facebook. There used to be all sorts of different types, but now they've whittled it down to just a few. And I suppose the most popular one is the promoted post. And the supported placements for that are in the right column, mobile feed, and news feed. And this is a great way of getting a larger audience engaged with an important piece of content or promotion. And for a set budget, you can boost a post which will increase its visibility in the feed of people who like your page as well as their friends. So again, it's going to get them right in front of the post that you want them to read. Then there's the boosted post, which is slightly different. And its supported placements are right column, mobile feed, and news feed as well. And it's available to pages with 50 likes or more, and it's basically a simpler version of promoted posts. And you can choose fans of your page and their friends, or you can choose to select by targeting criteria. Then there's a domain ad, and the supported placement for this is the right column. And domain ads are essentially adverts that appear in the sidebar and point directly to a website that you're hosting, so you can go straight to your website. And these are perhaps the simplest form of ads and are composed of a simple heading and a block of text. And it's a bit like Google AdSense, if you're familiar with that type of advertising, AdWords, AdSense. Then there's the multi-product. And this is placed in the newsfeed and the mobile newsfeed. And multi-product ads, as you would expect, display multiple items on a slideshow type display that lets users browse and shop right from Facebook. And this is incredibly powerful for e-commerce stores, and it means you're really only posting one ad to promote a whole range of products. Then there's the page like, and this supported placements for this one is the right column, newsfeed, and mobile newsfeed. And this is an advert for your Facebook page, essentially. And with these, you're trying to increase your number of likes so that you can generate a bigger audience to market to. Then there are video ads, and the supported placements are the right column, newsfeed, and mobile newsfeed. And video ads let you showcase a video. And these are good for getting likes, and they're powerful for video marketing. Then there are app ads, and the supported placements are the right column and the news feed. And if you have built a branded app for Facebook, then this is how you can promote it and encourage downloads. Then there's an event ad. Now, these are in the right column, newsfeed, and mobile newsfeed. And they, as the name would imply, allow you to advertise events. And this can be useful for increasing interest for a company launch event, for instance, or a conference, or if you've got a bricks and mortar store and you're running a special event or a promotion, then you can use this to tell people about it. And finally, there's an offer. And the supported placements are the right column, newsfeed, and mobile newsfeed. And an offer advert is useful for companies who want to market a special offer. And anyone who clicks on your ad will be emailed a code that they can use in order to redeem your special offer. And this is great for encouraging sales. And all of these different ways will help you to build your fan base, because even if it's something like an offer ad, people are going to know about your Facebook page, and you can encourage them to like you and follow you and so on. So this is just a few ways that you can build your Facebook following, build your Facebook fan base. Instagram and Pinterest are often overlooked by marketers, which is a big mistake, because you can actually generate a lot of traffic and sales from these particular two types of social media. Now, for the uninitiated, I better explain that Instagram and Pinterest are picture-based media. And they cater mostly for a female audience and are generally reached via smartphones. So let's look at each of these in a bit more detail. First of all, Instagram. Now, Instagram is an app that's growing in popularity. It has over 300 million users, and it's adding more every day. Now, at its most basic, Instagram is an image sharing app, and a fairly low quality one at that. But that's not to say it can't form a key part of your social media strategy. In fact, some really big companies are using Instagram to get their message across. Companies like Sharpie, Starbucks, and Target, to name but a few. And sports teams like the LA Clippers basketball team are heavy Instagram users too. And there are two good uses that you can put Instagram to. One is influencer marketing, and the other is local marketing. Influencer marketing means you find someone who already has a large following on Instagram and has established themselves as an authority. And these people will have the ability to sway the opinions of a large group of followers, which of course is where you eventually want to be. So instead of spending months or years trying to reach this point, why not piggyback on the success of someone who's already got there? Or to put it another way, why not see if you can't get someone to post on your behalf to their audience? Of course, there needs to be something in it for them, and this could mean that you pay them, you promote them on another social media in exchange for them promoting you, something like an ad swap, but on social media rather than email. Or you could just try targeting influential members of the public and hope that they'll like your brand enough to do it for free, although that doesn't happen very often, if I'm honest. Likewise, when you've built up a large Instagram following, you can offer to post for other people in your niche in return for them posting for you in another media, so you can spread your net a bit wider. Instagram is also great for local audiences. And this is because the pictures have an optional location tag, which you can use to help users geolocate your bricks and mortar store. And this can be very useful for drumming up business. So say, for example, you have a hairdresser's or a salon. You could ask your clients if you could take a photo of them with their new hairdo and post that on Instagram, and ask them to do the same if they have an Instagram account. So you're going to spread the word out to all their friends and followers. Now, Instagram is a perfect match for Twitter, as the two sites use the same type of hashtag, and it's easy to link an Instagram photo into a tweet. Then let's talk about Pinterest, because Pinterest is slightly different. It's still based around pictures, but they use it in slightly different ways. Essentially, Pinterest works by creating mood boards, and a mood board is essentially a collage made up of images and other materials that you've either created yourself or you've found on the web. For example, one of the most popular types of boards that users will create are wedding boards. And when an engaged couple begin planning their wedding, they'll often start by creating a Pinterest board and then looking for inspiration. They'll look at boards created by other users and search for ideas for wedding dresses, wedding locations, table decorations, wedding cakes, suits, etc. Or they may create separate boards for each of those things. And there are many ways that Pinterest gets used by marketers. For example, you could showcase a new web design or app UI. You could have ideas for interior design. You can put together inspirational images to get people to keep fit if you're in the fitness niche. You could have things like moves or goal physiques, etc. You can keep customers updated with your brand in a more visual way. You could perhaps, if you have a clothing site, you could have fashion and outfit ideas. If you're a tattoo artist, you could showcase tattoo ideas and much more. Now, beyond the basic features, there are also some more advanced options and tools on Pinterest that are going to be especially useful for marketers. And one of them is rich pins. Now, rich pins, as it says here on the page, are pins that include extra information right on the pin itself. And there are 6 types of rich pins. There's app, movie, recipe, article, product, and place. And if you come here to this page, business.pinterest.com/en/rich-pins, you can see it explains all about them, and you can click the links to get more information in detail on all of them. Finally, Pinterest also provides a large amount of analytics data. Now, to get this, you'll need to convert your personal account to a business account, and at the same time, you'll need to verify your account. From there, you'll be able to see what pins are getting pinned from your website or your blog. This in turn lets you see which content is really performing well and engaging your audience. And there are other advantages of making this switch too. Can you promote your blog or business with a personal account? Well, of course you can, to an extent, but there are some considerable advantages of making the switch. To start with, Pinterest actually requires you to make your Pinterest account a business one if you intend on using it for profit. A brand new feature of Pinterest is Pinterest Ads. And as the name would suggest, it enables you to actually buy advertising on the Pinterest platform. And this is brand new, so not very many marketers are using it at the moment. And you can find out more at ads.pinterest.com. So there you go, just some ways that you can use Instagram and Pinterest in your marketing mix.